Welcome to My Success. This show is all about what it takes to be successful. Tune in for some great conversation designed for providing you with the best information possible to help you achieve your goals and dreams. Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Kim Martin here, founder of I've Decided and host of your show today, our vodcast, My Success. We come at you every Tuesday. We're here live at YCast Studio on the third Tuesday of every month. Well, I have my good friend and our manager at Curves here with me today, Melissa Malbach. Hey, Melissa.
Hey, Kim. Good morning.
How's it going?
Good.
Good. Well, you haven't been on a show with me for a while.
It's been probably a year.
Has it been that long?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. We see each other all the time. You think you would land more often, but try to spread it out, spread the love, I guess.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's probably more often because I see you so often. But yeah, the days drag on and the years fly by, right?
They do. Holy cow. I can't believe this year's almost over.
I know. Thank God.
I know.
I mean, we're enduring the year 2020. Speaking of enduring, that's our weekly winning word, endurance, actually. Endurance is our weekly winning word at I've Decided. And we've been struggling with this word this week. We've talked about it. Kurt and I did our live little chat yesterday on our Facebook page talking about endurance. It's got you really thinking. You listened to a podcast this week that was kind of referring to it and been chatting about it on the circuit and with your staff at Curves. But it's a tough word, and it's so ironic that our weekly winning words are prepared a year in advance. So we didn't just create this word last week because endurance is a good fit for where we are in our world right now. It just, I call it divine appointment, by chance, however you want to look at it. But it was intended for that word to be our word this week.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought you would be awesome because obviously you think about endurance, you think about fitness, action, being active, having physical endurance, right? So being the manager at Curves and exercise and healthy lifestyle, how it really contributes to living with endurance. And, why do you think that is? So, like, do you feel, since you have been working out now, probably 6-7 years very consistently at
7,
Curves,
8,
running,
how
that has impacted your endurance as far as, like, digging in with your goals and living with more discipline, I guess?
Yeah, it affects your everyday life. I mean, it just started at Curves. I mean, it starts with multiple other things, but I think where I got super disciplined with it started mainly at Curves. And, and you have to recap it all the time. You go on vacation, you get back to the circuit, and you're like, holy cow, did you guys tighten the hydraulics on the machines? And, you build that endurance back up. And then you have moments of lag, and you keep going, and you rebuild that endurance, but you're never all the way back down to where you were. You're always better. But it has so many meetings. Like you said, I was like, okay, what are we going to talk about? When you told me that I was going to be on this morning, and I was talking to the girls on the circuit, and endurance. Like, I was like, is that the same thing, to endure something and to have endurance? And so when I said something to Karen on the circuit, she goes, well, I don't think so. She said, endurance would be like if I said, what are the members like? Wow, your endurance has really improved on the circuit. I really notice it. You're doing so much better. But to endure something seems like dreadful and painful.
Right.
And I said, but how did she get that endurance? And she goes, because she had to endure.
Right. She had to start.
Yeah.
And so she had to endure through many workouts to build that stamina.
Yeah.
And it can correlate right back to your goals and your dreams. Like, you have to endure failures. You have to endure setbacks, right?
Yeah.
But then that builds the endurance that says every time you want to give up, when you can go, nope, I'm not giving up. I'm going to dig in. I'm going to keep going. I said this yesterday, I keep saying it again, but it was the funniest image, you guys, when I was doing the research for our weekly winning resource this week. I found this image of this. It was a cartoon kind of character, right? And it was this guy holding on for dear life while the horse was kind of dragging him, and it said, "Hold on till you die."
Pretty much.
And that's kind of the feeling that we get, especially with what's happening in this year of 2020. There's not one of us who has not had an impact by something this year.
Especially if you're isolated, too.
Yeah,
I think you feel it more.
Your businesses, you know, the impact of your businesses. It's a very political year. You're fearful of the, maybe getting sick or getting someone else sick, and
it can wear on you.
It's just wearing on you, and it's worrisome. And there's just morale is just kind of bummed out right now. I think almost every one of us, and you guys, if you're watching live, let us know, show us some love, post some comments. If you're watching this later, how is your morale? Like, how are you feeling? For me, I just feel like I went into 2020, my word this year was epic. Literally. That was my word. I felt like 2020 was going to be our year, you know, everything was we were kind of starting to see the cream rise, it was just like amazing. Things were going really great. So I'm like, 2020 is going to be the best year ever. I had some really important plans working with some companies in our community, and then all of a sudden COVID. And so for me, I feel like I've taken 3 steps forward, 2 steps back.
So you're enduring to increase your endurance later, right?
Right. So maybe I'm in the enduring part.
You are. You're in that enduring part. But you've endured really well, because, I mean, if you think about it, it may seem hard, and it still is, but you have 2 businesses that are surviving,
right?
Which others were not as blessed to have that right now. So yeah, you probably are in that painful enduring to see the awesomeness of what's going to come out after it all, which is going to be great.
Yeah. So, but the other thing to remember too is sometimes we have to, when change happens to us, when something happens that's out of our control, right? That impacts our goals, that impacts what we had planned to do. It's okay to make some changes. I mean, we had to make some changes. I had to make a hard decision to our lease for I've decided the garden where we were on Pioneer Parkway. Our lease was up at the end of June. So I had to make a very, tough decision. Do I sign another lease and stay here, or do I bring both of the businesses under one roof? We had that 1,100 square foot in the back of Kurt's come available because Studio C moved to a larger location. And so I call it my COVID miracle, though, because I'm so glad we did that. I would have never done it if it hadn't, so I think we get little nuggets of like, okay, this was the right thing to do. This was actually a blessing out of this year.
Yeah.
Because now spending a lot of time working at Curves and I've decided the garden, our community room right there in one location, has just been extremely beneficial, I think.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, overall this year, we have had to endure a lot of things, but man, I am so much better off because of it. And a lot of people can't say that, which, again, I'm so grateful for, but sometimes you have to look for those little tiny blessings, and you can say that. But it's been an enduring year for sure. Yeah.
Well, and then you think of, I my favorite quote that I always say, the emotion follows the action. And I think that that's the quote that goes along with enduring, is that you're not going to feel like doing what you need to do. And it comes back to exercising.
Oh,
right?
You were in my head this morning. I didn't even have you around this morning. And, I sprained my ankle again for the second time about 3 months ago, I think it was. And I started running again. It's more of a hobbly run. But and then it started to hurt again. And then I just kind of had a pity party over myself. And then it was darker in the mornings, and it was every excuse in the book. And so thank goodness I was able to endure that with a support group. The ladies at Curves, my workout crew that I work out with in the morning, other people. And I was about to cop out of it again this morning, and I didn't. And I kept hearing that over and over in my head. And I'm like, come on. How many times I've laid in my bed at 5 a.m. and I hear the emotion follows the action, Melissa. I'm like, oh my gosh, be quiet. But I get up.
Right.
And I do it because otherwise I hear it all day. And the emotion does follow, because if I don't, I have this looming
then you feel
guilt
bad
all
about
day
yourself.
long.
It's a bad, it doesn't set yourself up for success. And, I have to do it too, right? Yesterday morning, I bailed. I didn't run. It was drizzly, cold rain when I woke up, and I didn't have a good night's sleep. And I was like, forget it. I'm not going. So I text my running group. I'm like, yep, I'm not coming today. And I bailed. But then today was a new day, which brings me to, when we're thinking about endurance or endure, let's talk about the enduring that you have to go through in order to build the endurance. Endurance is actually the result of enduring, right?
Yep.
So when you endure, you're practicing, you're strengthening that mental muscle so that you have endurance.
Yep. Or your physical muscles. I mean, you have to go through some pain of some kind, in some way to build your endurance. Yes.
Yeah. And so I was reading an article, or I got a message from Joy Dueling. Hey, Joy, if you happen to be watching, give a little plug. The Joy of Memberships. I follow her, right? She puts out a lot of information for membership businesses, really good stuff. And on her podcast, she had someone on there, and it was very similar to what we're talking about this week. And it said, you have to have that balance between that grace and the push. So the drive, right?
Yep.
You got to have that drive to stick the stake in the ground and to be like, no, I am going to do this. I'm going to endure. I'm going to make it. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep going no matter what. And then also, though, you got to have that grace to forgive yourself when you do have a slip up on a day where you can't talk yourself into digging in, where you just give up for the moment.
Yeah.
And I think we all give up sometimes, but it's how long we stay there.
Yeah, how long we stay down. We just talked about this in our nutritional coaching, because we just Curves International revamped our nutrition program, and we just launched it in our club. And the girls are about a week and a half in right now, myself included and you included.
Yes, me too. Which you reminded me this
We're
morning when I
enduring
was
with it
like,
together.
I'm so tired.
Yeah.
And you reminded me that I'm eating half the calories that I normally do, and that's probably why. So anyway, sorry. Keep
but we
going.
endured it together. Anyways, I was
enduring.
talking to the girls yesterday during our weekly coaching session, the group coaching session that we do, about grace versus excuses. So It's kind of like what you were saying. I'm like, give yourself a little bit of grace, because I think it was Lynn Campbell's birthday. She was like, so I ate my cake. I actually had 2 pieces. I said, that's grace. I said, it was your birthday. I said, now if it was your daughter's birthday, your husband's birthday, your cousin's birthday, your, best friend's birthday, all in the same week, now it becomes excuses. But it was your birthday. You should have enjoyed that moment. Give yourself a little bit of grace.
Right.
Or I messed up twice during that whole week. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of grace. But if you continue to mess up and you're doing it intently, then that becomes excuses. And I said, so finding that difference between those two, and then how long are you going to stay down? Are you going to stay down for a meal, a day, the week? How long until you're going to bounce yourself back up? And that endurance that you have, or that enduring that you have to do to build the endurance, by far, it is a million times easier with a support group.
Oh, yeah. When you have support and accountability.
Oh, I don't know what I would do without all. And I have multiple support groups. It just depends on what I'm dealing with. But it's a game changer.
Yeah. Going it alone, trying to endure something alone just sounds horrible. I can't, there's no way that I could have even convinced myself to get up today to go run if I didn't have running buddies that I was going to meet. I'm not saying that I don't ever go out alone. I can, and I have, and I do. But consistently to keep at it over and over.
And at some point you will have to. So the sermon I was listening to this morning talked about endurance in the silence.
Oh, yeah.
And how hard that is to endure during the silence, because sometimes you're not being told what to do or spoken to, or you're just not hearing, but sometimes you're literally not being told what to do. And the gentleman I was listening to said, imagine, I love my GPS. He goes, I use it everywhere. And he goes, and when you're on the right path, my GPS doesn't talk to me. And I just wanted to say, good job. Keep on going. You got this. Just keep on rolling down the road. But it doesn't. It's
right.
Quiet. It doesn't really talk to me until it's like, okay, I'm 400 feet. Now it's time to turn. And so sometimes enduring during that silence is difficult, and you do have to do some of it on your own, but having even someone to talk to that might not still be able to give you an answer, but sometimes you just need to vent or just have somebody. But
that's where the tools and the resources come in, right?
Yes.
So when you have those tools and resources to set yourself up for success. The other thing when I think about enduring, so that you have endurance to keep going, because quitting is not an option, just so we all got that right. When it comes to our goals, when it comes to our dreams, whatever it is that you need to be doing, your purpose, giving up on it is not an option.
yeah, there can be a quiet waiting period.
Right.
What you do during that wait is important.
Yes.
Yes.
Giving up on it is not an option. And so if you're feeling that way, I was just having a conversation with one of our community members yesterday who's feeling that way. If you're feeling like giving up, if you're feeling like giving up on yourself, your goals, your dreams, and just feeling overwhelmed, it's not the time to give up. It's the time to dig in deeper and do the things that you don't really want to do. It's so, isn't it ironic, how, and maybe you guys listening, if you feel this way, again, post in the comments, let us know what your thoughts are too. But isn't it ironic how when you start to go inward, when you start to feel overwhelmed and you start to go in, that you start to move away from the things you need the most? Like you might start thinking, oh, I need to cancel my membership at my fitness facility because I might lose my job over COVID. Or I need to do that. You start moving away from the things that you need the most to keep you going, to keep you healthy. I don't know why we do that. It's almost like self-sabotage.
Well, it's a panic. A panic, I think, sets in, and we're just grasping at straws because sometimes we just can't calm down long enough to just endure it for a little while. And there's moments, don't get me wrong, where we can't. But again, you never just ask. Maybe we have multiple times where we've had someone call, explain their situation, and we've worked around things. Sometimes you just need to ask for help.
Yes. When you're enduring, ask for help. Don't endure alone.
Yeah.
Show up. We say this all the time at I've Decided.
You never know what's going to happen.
If you just show up. And again, it comes back to that emotion follows the action. When you're feeling blue, when you're feeling low, when you're feeling like everything's pouring down on you, it's a much easier choice to just curl up on your couch and try to forget everything and veg out. It's a much easier choice to do that. But that's not going to be the solution. That's only going to make you feel worse. To make that harder choice to show up, show up to the things that you're a part of. You don't have to go do anything else.
Yeah.
Just take a look at your life and say, okay, what do I have right now? I know I was talking to our member that I was talking to yesterday. I said, when's the last time you've been to church? And she goes, I know, that's on me too. And I said, you got to do that. It's safe. Most churches have it set up where you can either go online or go in person. I know at our church we're social distancing, wearing masks. It's perfectly
or you can go online and do it.
Or you can go online, but just show up.
Yeah.
And don't use what we're calling the Zoom burnout as an excuse. That's just an excuse. We're all on Zoom. We're all having to do this digital these days, and we got to just find something we like about it and move into it.
Yeah, and you can give yourself, again, we're going back to that grace versus excuses. You can give yourself grace, and you could skip out on one thing because there is a time where you need to introvert. I know you have those days.
Right.
They don't come very often, and you are like on your couch with
Vegging
your
out.
Scrabble, maybe
Watching the holiday for the 25th
exactly.
time.
And so again,
My
that's
favorite
grace.
movie. Yeah.
Because you do know that that's a part of that
That's
process.
refueling.
But again, how long are you going to stay down?
Right.
How long you going? And so it's how long are you going to stay in that place before you have to get back?
Yeah.
And you
that's
just
right.
can't stay down very long. But everyone, give yourself a little grace to take those
Yes.
days here and there.
It's like what Joy said on her podcast. There's a time that you dig in and you pull yourself up by the bootstraps, and you got to balance that out between every now and then saying, you know what, I just need a moment to get myself together, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And so, all right, well, this was the fastest 20 minutes ever.
Holy cow.
I know. So real quick, you got any specials or anything happening at Curbs you want to share, invite anyone
We're
to come
so
in?
excited. I mean, right now we have 3 free workouts with a personal coach at Curves for anyone right now. We've got so many opportunities in club, even for people who are enduring, be it physical conditions or whatever. We have a on-demand option as well that brings the circuit, in theory, right into their homes. But come endure with us all at the club if you can. If you can't, I have options, but just stop enduring alone so we can all build up our endurance together. But yeah, we just have those 3 free workouts with a coach right now. Just come in and give it a try.
Try it out.
It's
Yes.
great. We have had like 10 new people in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Come in. Yeah, it's been super
Well,
fun.
it's your best defense, okay?
It is.
Living a healthy lifestyle, staying active is your best defense for your body to fight off anything. Really, anything.
Yeah.
So we want to encourage you to do that. And hey, if you are not a member of I've Decided already, we're your supplement to success. That's what I like to say. We're your community, your supplement to success. We don't replace anything like your gyms or your healthy lifestyle coaches or nutrition coaches. We don't replace that. We actually supplement your success and give you all those pieces of the puzzle you need to fulfill or achieve your goals and dreams. So you can check us out at ivedecided.org. And thanks, Melissa, for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
tuning in. Remember, show us some love, post some comments, share some feedback. We love to see that. It really helps us spread our message of living a life decided. Thank you so much for tuning in. And you're going to get to see Kurt next Tuesday on The Source next Tuesday.
Awesome. I get to see him all the time now.
I
It's
know.
great.
I have a Kurt in the back.
I always pop behind the curtain. Hey, Kurt.
Yeah, it is awesome having Kurt back there.
It is.
Yeah,
I do feel bad for him some days, having 2 women to work with, but he endures it pretty well.
He does.
All right.
Enjoy your rest of your day, everybody.
PeoriaLife.com.
Awesome.